Hi guys, this is going to be a quick breakdown of the KA-P5W, or as it is more affectionately known, the Kapow. So I was gonna. This is sort of the next one in my series of what guns to use after 2.0. I was gonna run straight into another SMG breakdown. I was gonna have a look at the Evo, but I ended up shooting some gameplay footage for the Kapow, and I guess I got to do a breakdown associated with that because it's already released. So, and anyway, it's good to do a different operative class. So the Kapow is part of the PDW weapon class used by the specialists. It's one of two, this and the PP2K. The PP2K is a decent weapon in its own right. I don't know if it can really be argued for against the KA, but in TDM at least, something like headquarters or any sort of close combat TDM, the PP 2200 is pretty strong. And if I get some time in the future, I'll do a breakdown on that because I quite like my loadout for that. But if I'm going to go for anything, it's going to be this. And to be honest, I think this is one of the strongest guns in the game, because it doesn't suffer from the horrible movement stability penalties that the assault rifles do, but it's got great range. It handles like an SMG. I generally run Sitara. She's got a lot of health, so the combination of this operative, although I mean it works equally well with Togusa. I've not really run the KA with Saito. I've only really used him with sniper rifles, but generally I don't snipe very much. I mean, we've had these events and stuff, so I do it for that, but I'm not a huge fan of sniping. I prefer sniping in games, something like Battlefield, where you've got bullet lead and drop and whatnot, and it's a little bit difficult rather than sort of this sort of Call of Duty style sniping. Anyway, that's by the by. Let's have a look at the stats and what I've got loaded onto this weapon, and I'll run through why I've made those choices. So, apart from the jaunty paint job, first up, quick point, essential, put it on everything. I aim down sight all the time. If you see from my gameplay footage, I do. That's just the way it is. I mean, I might start pre-firing, hip-fired, and bring up the sights, but I'm always aiming down sight. And to be honest, it's for good reason. Your accuracy and stability go up and are capped at a much tighter level when you're aiming down sight. So you should do it. But if you're going to do it, then you need something that aims down sight quickly. And so the next best thing to iron sights is your quick point. It's got a really nice big viewfinder. Makes it very easy to acquire secondary targets. It's always a no-brainer for me. I'd put a quick point on a sniper rifle if they gave me the chance. So, given that Sitara is reasonably speedy, and I put a couple of agiles on her as well, you can go for that heavy barrel, the damage barrel as people call it. And you're going to want to do that because it's going to extend your effective range by 10%, and you want that accuracy buff and damage buff. I go for the heavy suppressor, +4, -10% of your range, right? Still going to leave you just under 20 meters, and that's worth talking about in itself. The 20-meter range of this makes it an absolute monster. If you compare these stats directly to the assault rifles, you'll find that they are more favourable than most of the assault rifles, and they don't suffer from that unique sort of hidden statistic that when you strafe, your crosshairs, stability goes and it goes massive, which is a specific feature that they introduced just for the assault class. So it's an absolute beast. It's an assault rifle, is what it is, because there are assault rifles now. I mean, the LMGs have ranges of 25 meters now. So 20 meters is a big deal in the grand scheme of things. It really is. Drum mag's essential. You've got that extra stability. You can afford to lose some. And the ADS grip, obviously, for me, that's a no-brainer. And then it comes down to, do you need more accuracy? Well, actually, with this stability and with the fire rate that it has, if you tap fire, it stays on target very well. And you'll see that if you have a look at the gameplay footage video. I can shoot off the entire 50 rounds of the drum mag without it losing much accuracy. It's staying pretty tightly grouped for the entire 50. So you don't really need to worry too much about accuracy. It's more about volume. You've got that 20-meter range, and that means that you're getting more bang for your buck with your CBC1, because up to 20 meters, you're getting just exactly the same argument as for the UMP. And if you haven't seen that video, give it a look. If you run Infiltrator at all, good argument for why the UMP is one of the better choices of SMG. So yeah, CBC1 for sure. So if we get in the shooting range, again, this is going to be a little bit shorter than before because it's already been covered in the UMP video. So have a look at that, my waffle there. But let's just have a look at when this range sort of kicks in. So, like I said in the other video, if you add 10% and subtract 10%, leaving me with 20 meters, it's not actually 20 meters, it's just under. And with something like a Deathstalker or an even shorter range weapon, that discrepancy can start making a little bit more of a difference. Still, we've got so actually 20 meters is from about the line, and we've got 19.6, which is just 19.9, I mean 8 in fact. So, but it's still a pretty good, pretty healthy range. Looking about here, just behind this barrier here for these targets. In terms of the stability with this +4 suppressor, and the natural stability stats of the gun, and the fact that it's a 70 fire rate, which in my opinion is the perfect sweet spot, it's really easy to control. If we have a look at the grouping, that's me tapping it there. I mean, you can see that's ridiculous, right? So I lost about 1 round. It's very accurate, very stable for multiple target acquisition. So even if you want to spray transfer, works very, very well. A popular tactic that you'll see even in my videos, I don't do it as much as others because I do think that coming around a corner and being on target is more valuable than the double jump, but the double jump to headshot is a thing, and you'll see it a lot from certain players. Basically, as you're coming back down, you're almost guaranteed a headshot. and your opponent is kind of left, especially if they've got a low aim down sight sensitivity setting, or just low sensitivity in general. They're going to be chasing you. They don't catch up. They find it very hard to track the double jumping target, because the second jump is a lot faster than the first. Sudden change in acceleration makes it very difficult to track. But I mean, that kind of works for these short engagements. So you'll see a lot of people using it a lot in elimination, in demo. Not as useful in TDM. The playing field gets leveled to an extent, because you can start picking them off at range. But it works anyways. There's not too much to say other than that about the KA-P5W. It is a beauty, and you know, if the infiltrator class could use it, I would go for it, to be honest. It's the happy medium between the UMP and the Evo, stats wise and just the way it feels. It's got a very favourable spray pattern. Let's just have a look at the defaults. Okay, let's just shoot those rounds off. See that? So even after it skips off, then it kind of hangs around here. So even if you're panicking, you go, and that required zero control on my part to bring it down or anything. I just had to move left and right. So in those panic situations, you can go fuck up and then take out multiple targets that are approaching you. So it's very, very strong. It has that 20-meter range, and it has the favourable spray pattern. I couldn't really recommend another gun against this. The only thing is that the assault rifles have generally, can have a little bit more range. So that, combined with the extra health, means that something like a KHX is probably going to beat you at distance. But with the way that this feels, you can easily, have a look at the game. As I say again, have a look at the gameplay footage video, and you'll see me breaking through shields and then taking out an Aziman's head. It's quite possible if you can hold on target. It doesn't take much. I cannot sing the praises of this highly enough. So for sure, if you have it, try this setup and get in the shooting range and just see how it feels if you're not running it like this. And if you've got the GP, drop it on those extra attachments and then give it a go in live gameplay. And if it's shit, then feel free to complain at me in the comments or whatever. I'll put a link to the gameplay footage video in the description for this one if I can. Otherwise, just have a look. Will be the last video before this that I posted. So that pretty much wraps it up. Hope that was informative, and I'll see you all soon.